I recently replayed Monkey Island for the first time in over 30 years, and I really thought that the nostalgia of that experience would shape everything. But I was streaming it on Twitch, and playing it with a bunch of strangers really changed the experience. Monkey Island isn't just a game that I loved as a kid, it's genuinely one of the smartest, funniest, and most charming games ever made. And somehow, after nearly 30 odd years, it still just works. This isn't really a review, it's more a love letter. So here are my 5 reasons why Monkey Island is still my favourite game. Number 1, the graphics were amazing. If you didn't grow up in the 90s with these kinds of games, it's kind of hard to explain just how incredible they looked for the time. Whether it was the intricate, handcrafted backgrounds that looked like it had taken artists weeks to go and put together. Back then, games just didn't have graphics that were this detailed. Suddenly the camera would zoom in on someone's face, the Guybrush or the Swordmaster or LeChuck, and it kind of blew your mind just how detailed these visuals actually were. There are very few games even today that have a really genuinely cinematic feel to them. One of the reasons why it did feel so cinematic was it was made by LucasArts. Yes, that LucasArts. Yeah, it's stylized, it's over the top, it's completely exaggerated. So even now, that art style really holds up.
It works! Oh, I'm so relieved.
Number 2, the characters are incredible. We have to start with Stan. Stan is basically the best character ever made in any game ever. I stan Stan. Stan was apparently based on a real person. He was based on a car salesman in a TV ad that the game developers had seen and thought was hilarious. It's probably Stan's arm waving, his tapping foot, his ridiculous car salesman cliches. The animations themselves almost become the comedy. And every time Stan appeared on screen, chat lost its mind.
Good luck, I'm out of here.
If I was honest, I'd probably say that LeChuck kind of terrified me as a kid. Playing the game again now, he's so funny. And we can't forget Guybrush. Guybrush Threepwood.
What did you say your name was again?
Guybrush Nosehair.
Froomwade.
Thriftweed?
Spice cake.
Call me Squinky.
Guybrush works as a character because he is an idiot. But you kind of have to ask yourself, he's only an idiot because he's doing things that we tell him to do, right? Guybrush Threepwood thinks he is the best pirate in the whole of the Caribbean, but he's kind of useless. But that's his charm, that's why we love him. And then there's all the other random characters that you meet throughout the game. They're all so full of personality and so full of life and so full of humor that create this kind of tapestry of just this weird, wacky world. Number 3, the puzzles are just challenging enough. Let's be honest, Monkey Island came out during an era where games were pretty brutal. You had to just figure things out. There was no way that you could go online and search a walkthrough or watch a YouTuber complete the game. You could go for weeks being stuck in the same spot, and you had to just experiment and try and figure things out for yourself, which meant, yeah, getting a little frustrated at times, but when you finally managed to go and crack one of the problems, it was incredible. Some of the challenges are just based on language. For example, when you need to navigate the giant monkey head, you have to go to the cannibals and give them a book on getting ahead in navigation in order for them to give you the navigator head. Get ahead in navigation, get it? It's stuff like that that you'd be stuck on for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then when you finally figure out the clue, you're like, oh yeah. It always feels obvious after. And when you get stuck, you'll find yourself trying out the weirdest combinations of actions just to see what would happen. Like for example, I've definitely tried using the staple remover on a ghost pig. And I think that gives you a sense of how Monkey Island always walks this line between logic and kind of making sense of things and total nonsense. Number 4, it's really replayable. A lot of the games from back in the 90s or this kind of era of gaming are certainly important, but not necessarily as replayable. What really surprised me playing this nearly 30 years after I first played it, people remember completely different things, like which problem they got stuck on for how long. So really the best way to play this game is to wait 30 years, completely forget everything, and then play it with a bunch of strangers online. And I think this is what makes Monkey Island such a special game for so many people. Number 5. It is hilarious.
Say hello, Roger.
Hello, Roger!
More than anything else, Monkey Island is funny.
I'm off.
Good luck. Be sure to wear your mittens. And don't forget to write.
And I don't mean funny for the 90s. I don't mean funny for a game. I just mean funny. Whether it's the back and forth pirate insults, I think everyone could remember a few of those. Or when you jump into that hole in the governor's mansion and there's some weird stuff going on with a moose and some gophers and gopher repellent. Or exhausting all the different dialogue trees and clicking on every single piece of dialogue just to make sure you got absolutely everything out of it. And the writing never feels desperate or overwritten. It's never really forced. It really trusts you to get the joke. To replay Monkey Island nearly 30 years later reminded me of why games matter so much. Not because they're super realistic or got these massive budgets, but because ultimately they create memories. I first played this game when I was a kid with my brother, and playing it again 30 years later with a bunch of strangers on Twitch is still an amazing experience. So to wrap things up, Monkey Island isn't just one of my favourite games, it is arguably the best game ever made. And I'm not the only one who feels that way.